And hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We've got a big one for you this morning, as Donald Trump has urged Karma to protect Britons from mass migration as the United States issues grooming gang warning. Guys, we are going to be breaking down this story. Of course, Donald Trump has been very vocal on the ongoings of the United Kingdom last week. Of course, spoke in an interview with GB News and spoke about a host of different things and talked about migration. However, we are seeing an American or an official American communicate sending and warning European governments about mass migration that includes the United Kingdom. In today's video, we are going to be breaking this down. And there was another little update with regard to the whole BBC lawsuit as well. So, very much a Donald Trump focused video. But as always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. I'm also blown away by the support that we've had on X. Yesterday we launched our account. We're currently closing into 450 followers. So, if you haven't already followed our X profile, please do. There's different kinds of content that's going to be on there that's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be more sort of short form. So please do follow our Rex page as British stand with a double D due to a name being taken. But guys, thank you so much for your support. Please do follow it. It means the absolute world to me. But let's get into today's video. So, as you can see here, guys, an exclusive from BB News has stated, Donald Trump urges Karma to protect Britons from mass migration as U.S. issues grape gangs warning. Donald Trump's administration will urge Starmer to address Britain's mass migration crisis. GB News can exclusively reveal an official American communique will be issued to governments across Europe and the West, stating, "We encourage your governments to ensure that policies protect your citizens from the negative social impacts of mass migration, including displacement, sexual assault, and the breakdown of law and order." The U.S. State Department issued the memo to American embassies in Europe, including Britain, telling officials to urge governments to positively respond to their citizens' growing discontent related to unmitigated migration. The memo also cited organized rape gangs in the United Kingdom as an example of how mass migration has damaged European nations. Responding to the bombshell document, ex-Home Secretary Suella Braverman said, "It speaks volumes when Washington has to remind our government of its basic duty to protect the British public. Trump is right to call out Starmer's disastrous record of mass migration. Britain must follow our U.S. allies with unapologetically firm border control, decisive deportations for anyone who has no legal right to be here, a zero-tolerance approach to foreign nationals who break our laws, and a system that finally puts British people first. Until more people are leaving than arriving, we cannot pretend our borders are secure." U.S. officials are now required to report on violent crimes and human rights abuses perpetrated by migrant populations and note policies that unduly favor migrants at the expense of the local populations, such as leniency and punishment of migrant crimes or displacement of local populations from housing to accommodate migrants. The new State Department policy will put pressure on governments across Europe to tackle issues related to mass migration, including national security, public safety, and human rights. The memo takes aim at Britain, specifically over the Grape Gang scandal, and criticized two-tier systems that provide disproportionately lenient punishments to migrants for their crimes, an accusation that has dodged karma throughout his premiership. The Trump administration also highlighted the issue of migrants displacing local populations and raised concerns around legal consequences for criticizing mass migration. The memo comes after Lucy Connolly served 9 months in prison for her online post calling for mass deportations. State Department Principal Deputy spokesperson Tommy Puget said mass migration has resulted in waves of violent crime and terror attacks, the proliferation of sex trafficking gangs, and the destabilization of communities. The United States calls on Western governments to productively respond to their citizens' concerns and stand ready to assist in addressing the crisis. We are ending the era of mass migration. This is pretty big, of course, from the United States. The United States, of course, leading by example at this moment in time as European countries are battling with this current crisis. We have got a lot of left-leaning leaders that are currently in positions of powers inside the European countries, and they're not necessarily listening to this situation. Now Labour will argue, well, they have reformed these, they've got new reforms to the asylum system and legal entry now with their new sort of thing that Shabana Mudd came out in a statement saying, but still it's certainly not enough. Robert Rates Bates, research of director of Center of Migration Crow, also said the Trump administration is right to point out that mass migration represents a threat to the British public. It is a permanent shame on the Labour and Tory governments that they have tarnished Britain's international reputation through scandals like the Grape Gangs. The UK has seen a large-scale abuse of British women and girls by a certain migrant populations. Whether it's the Pakistani or the fact that quarter of sexual assault convictions are of foreign national, our political class have unforgivably allowed for a proliferation of terror and misery on Britain's streets. So yes, I love that we're seeing that pressure come from the United States and of course from the Trump administration. Now speaking of Donald Trump as well, this morning Donald Trump's defamation lawyer comes knocking at number 10 just days after the president threatened to sue the BBC. One of Donald Trump's defamation lawyers has met officials in Downing Street only days after the president threatened to sue the BBC for billions. The Telegraph reported that Robert Garson flew to the UK from his Florida home to have discussions with a senior aide to the Prime Minister. Mr. Trump has threatened to sue the BBC over doctoring a speech by Panorama and the broadcaster's flagship investigation program. It prompted the regular nations, as we know, of the BBC Director General Tim Davie and the BBC News Chief Executive Deborah Turners. The legal action proposed by Mr. Trump is a blow to Kama, who has built a strong relationship with the U.S. President. Mr. Trump claimed the Prime Minister was very embarrassed by the BBC. Edit. GS2 Law Chairman Mr. Garson said. He did not discuss the legal action with the senior official, instead raising the subject of the BBC's alleged anti-Semitism and anti-Israel bias. My trip has absolutely nothing to do with the BBC lawsuit. We may have spoken about anti-Semitism at the BBC, he added. So that of course is rumbling on. But the main story of course we have discussed is the mass migration. Something that our citizens are absolutely bewildered with at this moment in time. And again, you can see that pressure from the United States hopefully going to be able to help us as a nation and as a country because, well, we see it firsthand what is happening. We also see across the pond what the benefits of what they're currently doing at this moment in time. And again, hopefully we do listen. All these European leaders do listen to the Trump administration. Are again trying to sort of convince these left-wing liberals that this is the case. Doesn't necessarily bode too well, as we've seen this week, with sort of baby steps in the right direction within the United Kingdom, getting all these liberal MPs on side. Some of the stuff I've heard and the rhetoric I've heard from these people is by all means absolutely clueless. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on this new memo, this new warning, so to speak, down there in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. And don't forget to follow our X page. It is British Stand. Thank you guys. Take care. Look after yourselves. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.